Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Simone here. As you can see, today is not my face, which is probably a good thing because it's really muggy. But I mentioned in my bookshelf overview tour, which went up I think on Friday, and I will link that down below for you so you can go and check it out. But I talked in that video that I was going to make that one, which was basically just me showing you all of the books that I have, so it's probably a long video. And then I'm going to do a video every Sunday, an extra video basically talking about each individual book on my shelves and actually talking about it a bit more in depth. So today is obviously a bookshelf tour 1.1. This is going to be the first bookshelf, my big bookshelf, and it's going to be the top shelf, as you can tell. So obviously if you want to go and see all the books I've got and you're not interested in more specifically in depth, then go and watch that one, but stay tuned if you want to see all the books on my top shelf and a bit more about them. So the first book I have is The Muse by Burton. I think I picked this one up in my local charity shop. I'm not sure which one, I can't remember, but this one is a book that I'd heard a few people talking about, and I actually owned The Miniaturist, which you'll see in a minute because it's further along this shelf. And I'd heard good things. I really love this cover. I hadn't actually seen this cover before. The normal one I see is quite a dark cover, but I really liked how bright this one was. And yeah, I'm just wanting to give this one a go. I know that Julie from Hungry Bookworm actually DNF'd this one. She wasn't a fan, but she did like the other one, so I'm interested. I think I'm going to be buddy reading this with Charlie and Emily in September, but I can't actually remember. I know that this is on our list of potential buddy reads, so yeah, looking forward to giving this one a try. Next up is Little Boy Blue by MJ Arledge, and this one is the 5th book in the D.I. Helen Grace thriller series. I heard about this set of books on Nicole from A Beautiful Chaos of Books channel. She read the first one, which I think is called Eeny Meeny, which I actually don't own. I need to get hold of it somehow. But again, I got this in the charity shop. I do get most of my books from the charity shops, if I'm honest, so you'll probably sense a theme. But this one is a detective series, and I always love reading about detectives, and yeah, I'm generally very excited to give it a go. Next up is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. If you watch my July TBR, you'll know that this is one of the options for the book that I'll be reading in July, so at this precise moment of filming I don't know if this is the book that was picked, but we will soon find out. This, I believe, is a dystopian novel, which I've heard lots about because I think it's actually a TV series at the moment. I think season 2 might just have come out, I'm not 100% sure, I never actually watched the first season, I need to do that. But I think it follows a world where women are sort of traded in order to breed. They don't, mind the dog sneezing, they don't actually get to breed for themselves, they breed for wealthy couples, and I think it's about that. I think this book is really an important read according to what I've heard. And yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this one a try. Next up we have Into the Water by Paula Hawkins, the author of The Girl on the Train. I really enjoyed The Girl on the Train when I read it a couple of years ago. This one, I believe, is about a woman whose sister is found drowned with a suspected suicide, and she refuses to believe that that she would have killed herself because she's scared of water. And so it's about that. I don't obviously know anything else about it. I am excited to read this because, like I said, I really enjoyed Paula Hawkins' last book, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. Next up, as promised, is The Miniaturist by Burton. Like I said, obviously I have The Muse. I haven't read The Miniaturist either. I should just say this whole shelf is unread. I don't actually keep books that I've read, so I very rarely have books I've read on my shelves. This one, like I said, sounds really interesting. It's a historical, kind of like thrillery history book, I think. And as far as I know, it's about a doll's house where the miniature in the doll's house, or the thing in the doll's house, starts to reflect her life. I don't know if I've just made that up, but either way I am really excited to give this author a go. The next one is Daughter by Jane Shemilt. This is another thriller, surprise surprise. This one, I believe, is about a girl who goes missing, and a year later she's still missing, and it's about how her family have come, like how they're dealing with it, and also they need to find out the truth about Naomi, who's the daughter, otherwise they'll never find her. So yeah, that one sounds fascinating to me. And it also says on the, with a little bit at the bottom, it says it's utterly gripping and it has a devastating ending. And I do love a big twisty ending, so that should be really interesting and quite suspenseful. Next up we have Local Girl Missing by Claire Douglas. This is another thriller about a girl who goes missing, and 20 years later a body is found, and the girl's friend is trying to figure out what happened and what's going on. So yeah, again, this sounds fascinating, quite similar to some of the other books I've got, but I do love reading this kind of thing, so I'm interested to see how it differentiates itself. Then we have Black Box by Cassia Leo. I don't know too much else about this. I believe it is a romance sort of love story kind of novel, but I also believe it's meant to be more than that. So I believe that the two main characters have actually met twice previously and somehow saved each other's lives. And then this is about the third encounter. Again, I know nothing more than that, so it could be really good, could be really bad, I don't know, but I'm interested to give it a go. The next one is Handle with Care by Jodie Picoult. This is probably one of the books that I'm most excited about. This one is about a girl named Willow who's 7 years old, and I believe that she has brittle bone disease, so she actually broke like multiple bones before she was born, and basically her family is really struggling to be able to pay for her hospital bills, and so the family's lawyer tells the parents that they could sue the hospital for wrongful birth, but obviously in order for that to happen and for them to get money for that, they basically have to say that their daughter should never have been born, and it's that difficulty between like, I don't know, between that, I suppose. Like I said, I love kind of legal stuff anyway, and I feel like that's obviously what this is partly about. And also I think Jodie Picoult's writing is always really amazing, and she always really researches books really well, so yeah, this one could be really interesting. Next up is The Couple Next Door by Shari Lapina. This is about a couple who go to their neighbour's dinner party who asks them not to bring their young baby because they don't want it to cry basically at the dinner party. The lady's husband says it'll be alright, we'll keep checking on her, we'll keep going back, and then at one point they go and check on her and she has disappeared, and then it's about that. Again, this is a thriller. I've heard really great things about Shari Lapina's writing in general. I think she's got some other books out as well now, so yeah, very much looking forward to trying a new author. Next up is A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. I think this is the second book in the Game of Thrones series. I forget which order they're in, to be honest. I obviously read the first one a couple of years ago on audiobook and really enjoyed it, so I thought when I saw this in the charity shop I thought I'd pick it up. I do own a couple of the other ones in the series as well, but I would like to keep reading them at some point, because I mean, I've never seen the TV show, so I feel like I should probably read the books at least. Next up is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. This I have literally no idea what it's about because I've just read the book, and to be honest with you, I still don't really understand it. There's lots of things happening in it, but I feel like this is one of Neil Gaiman's most talked about books. I have read a couple of things by Neil Gaiman. I read The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman and really enjoyed that, so hopefully this is another one. It's quite a big book really in general, but yeah, I am looking forward to giving this one a go because, as I said, I've heard good things. I also think I have this on audiobook, so let me know if you think I should read it physically or read the audiobook, or maybe read them sort of together. Yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Next up is Port Mortuary by Patricia Cornwell. This is one of the books in the Dr. Kay Scarpetta series, which you all know I absolutely adore, and you will find there will be many more of these on my shelves. I don't know what number this is. I have so many of them and I never know what order they go in, but I do tend to try, at the moment I'm trying to read them in the order. I feel like this one is it's a little way along. I believe this is actually one of the first books towards the second half of the series that is actually written from Kay Scarpetta's perspective, as in first person, so that could be interesting. I think this one, because you don't have to read them in any particular order, I believe this one follows basically Kay Scarpetta while she is trying to determine what happened to a man who seems to have died, but then there are also signs that potentially when he was locked in the cooler in the morgue he may possibly still have been alive, and yeah, it goes from there. I'm really looking forward to I always look forward to reading Patricia Cornwell, to be honest, and this one I have not read before. Some of them I've already read previously and I'm rereading them, but yeah, I haven't actually read this one at all. Next up is Unboxed by Non Pratt. This is a book that I bought on kind of a whim because I'd not heard too much else about it. But basically it follows 5 friends who, when they were 13, they made a memory box and put lots of things in it and made a pact that they would come back together at a certain point and open it together. However, one of the 5 has actually died in the meantime, and I guess it's about how they deal with that. It kind of reminds me, does anybody watch the Crossroads movie with Britney Spears and a few other people in? I can't remember who else. I'll put a picture on the screen of the DVD, that you know, the movie cover. But yeah, I loved that movie, and that was really, really amazing, and it kind of reminds me of that. So yeah, also this is a really thin book, so I feel like this is not going to take long to read at all. Next up we have Hide and Seek by MJ Arledge, and this one I believe is the 6th book in the D.I. Helen Grace series. As I said, the first one being Eeny Meeny, and earlier on I talked about Little Boy Blue. This one I think is about D.I. Helen Grace having been framed for murder, and she is in prison with some of the people that she put behind bars, and it's about what happens there and how she figures out what's going on. Again, I really want to read this series, so I will pick any of the books I see up in the hope that I will eventually find the first one and be able to start it. Next up I have The Ice Twins by S.K. Tremaine. This is a book that I picked up recently, and I think I hauled it in my most recent haul, which I'll link down below. But this basically follows twins who, one of them dies in really tragic circumstances, and the parents and the surviving twin move to Scotland on a little island, and then one of the twin that's surviving says that she's actually the other twin than they thought, and it's about that. I think this sounds fascinating and really eerie, and I love, as I think I said in that video, I love the fact that they've used the twin trope in a different way, because I hate when people or like writers use the trope of twins where they're talking about kind of the answer is, oh, it was a twin, and that's like the big plot twist. I really hate that, so I'm hoping that this one is better for that. Next up is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I have had this on my kind of Goodreads to read list for ages, and so I bought it relatively recently. In fact, I might have even hauled it in that same haul that I was talking about a minute ago. But I don't really know too much else about this. I know that Colleen Hoover is an author that there is a lot of commenting and talk about how problematic she is, and so I thought it would be interesting to pick up one of her books. I don't really want to pick up loads of them in case I don't like it, and I kind of can see where people are coming from with that, but I thought I'd pick up one. I don't actually like this cover. I've seen a nicer cover of this book, but I think it follows a woman who goes home one day and finds there's an airline pilot like passed out outside of her door, and he lives nearby, I think, and then I think there's got something to do with I guess they hate each other, but then they're gonna fall in love. I don't know, like I said, this could be good, it could be bad, but we'll soon see. Next up is Girl Online Going Solo by Zoe Sugg, otherwise known as Zoella on YouTube. I actually really like Zoella's channel. Sorry, the book moved. I actually really like Zoella's channel, and so I wanted to support her when her book came out. I read the first one and really liked it. I've read the second one and I quite liked that one. This is the third one, which I haven't read. I am hoping to read it at some point. I think that I personally, like I said, love Zoe, so I'm happy to support her, and I think it's important that she does talk about like mental health in books. Personally, I enjoy that, but I know not everybody does. But yeah, so I own this one and I would like to read it at some point soon. Next up we have Welcome to Rosie Hopkins' Sweet Shop of Dreams by Jenny Colgan. I found this it was on offer in my local WH Smith, so I actually bought 2 copies, one for myself and one for Emily from Novelle Novels. I love Emily's channel and she has been reading Jenny Colgan, and I'm quite excited that we both have it. Even if we don't necessarily buddy read it, I'd love to talk to her about it after she's read it and I've read it. I don't really know too much else about it other than obviously what it says on the tin, but I think that I know that Emily has talked a lot about Jenny Colgan and how she's really like a fun author and a book that I will probably really enjoy. So I feel like this is a book that I might need to read if I'm feeling a bit down and I need a little pick me up, and I don't feel like this is going to take ages to read either, which is also a massive plus. Next up is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I am actually buddy reading this with Emily, who I mentioned before, and also Charlie from Charlie Brooke. I love those girls, and we have planned on reading this. I think we're reading in August. It is huge and it's a classic, so it might take us all month, but we are planning on buddy reading it together to make it a little bit easier and a nice and fun experience. Yeah, I don't really know too much about it, to be honest with you. Obviously it's a classic. I've heard it's a good classic, I suppose. I don't really know. But yeah, Tolstoy's meant to be a great author, so I definitely want to at least have been able to tick it off of my classics list. Next up I have the Bachman books, written by Stephen King, writing under the pseudonym of Richard Bachman. I actually bought this because I was hoping to buy, so this actually has 3 books in it. It has The Long Walk, it has Roadwork, and it has The Running Man. I'm trying to buy all of Stephen King's books in order, not necessarily to keep them, but I just want to be able to have read them all. And I think the one I was hoping to read next was like The Long Walk, I think. So I went on Amazon to buy it, and it was like £20 because someone was buying, like selling it like a private seller. And then I saw this one, which was all 3 of them, and I was a bit like, I mean, it means that I don't have to buy all 3 books separately, and actually to get them all in one was kind of a bargain because it was only about £11, or was it £9? I can't remember now, but I was chuffed basically to pick it up. So yeah, I don't know too much about the individual stories in this, but I am looking forward to hopefully reading them because I mean I love Stephen King, so I'm a big fan and excited to be able to finally read some of his books as Richard Bachman, because I think I own another one but I've never read any of them. Next up is Anatomy of a Scandal by Sarah Vaughan. I don't know too much about this one, but I'm pretty sure I put this in my most anticipated books of like 2018, I think, and I never read it and never owned it, but then I saw it in a charity shop the other day and was really excited because I have wanted to read this. All I know about it is it's a thriller, like a psychological thriller, but it's also got a lot of courtroom stuff in it, which, as we all know, is one of my favourite things. I do love reading about like courtroom things, so yeah, definitely one I'm excited to read, and very glad that I managed to get my hands on it for quite a small amount of money as well. Next up is A List of Cages by Robin Rowe. This was a book that I was hoping to read in the mental health-a-thon in May, and I just never got to it. This was actually a book that I received from Izzy from Is Currently Reading as part of a Secret Santa kind of project that Anna from the channel Anna Francesca did, and she sent this to me and that off of my wish list, and I was very excited because this is a book that I am really looking forward to reading. I believe it follows a guy who ends up getting like a placement with the school psychologist, and one of the jobs he gets given is to talk to this other boy who turns out to be his foster brother, or I think that's it, and it's about that. I know this has got quite good representation for different things in. I don't know specifically which ones, but when I read this I will obviously mention it in a video. Yeah, so looking forward to this one again. Not a massive book either, which is great. I just didn't get around to it. And then the final book on this shelf is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This is the first book in the Six of Crows duology. I love this book. It was my favourite book of 2017, as you probably all know, and this is the only book on this shelf that I own. I'm keeping this one because it was so amazing, and sometimes a book really just sticks with you, and I absolutely love this. I do want to reread this at some point because I feel like I've already forgotten some of it, and I'm really sad about that. I also read Crooked Kingdom last year and really liked that one as well, so hopefully it's maybe a duology that I can read again. But yeah, I really like this one, and definitely I'm glad it's on my shelf. I do just want to also do my video shout out in this video, even though my face is not on screen, but I will put a picture of this person on the screen. So I want to shout out Bookaholic Shay. This is a really quite new channel. I think she only put up a couple of videos, but I've already loved both of the videos that I've seen. I think I watched her BookTube newbie tag and also her bookshelf tour, and I would highly recommend that you go and watch her channel and send her some love. Obviously she's just starting out, but I think it's really important that we kind of embrace, I think it's really important that we support new booktubers, because this community has space. We have room for more people, so I'm excited. And yeah, definitely go and check out her channel. If you like this video, guys, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments down below, do you think I should read American Gods on audiobook or physically? And I will speak to you next time for another video. Bye guys!